Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. Ida for possibly running 6 to 9 kids' futures. 16F, am taking German class, and the teacher hates me due to my IEP. I have dysgraphia and ADHD, and speaking of dysgraphia, I am sorry if my spelling/grammar is bad, and other situations which I will probably make a different post about. Today we took our final. It wasn't actually, but it will act as it in our grade book. During tests the teacher likes to have us turn around and face her so she can see our screens. This is important. The teacher likes to accuse me of cheating for no reason. Well, she thinks the work is too good for me to have done it. Even though the year is almost over, she can still royally F over my grade, so when I saw my opportunity to earn a spot in her goodish graces so she would stop being awful, if more context is needed I am happy to provide. My opportunity came in the form of the kid sitting next to me. IDK his name as we change seats for tests and we never talk, and he was opening a Google. It is an online test, and there were answers there. I called the teacher over to ask a question, and in the text box where we were supposed to write our free response answer I had typed kid's name is opening a Google Doc. I have no idea if it is answers or just some other thing that he has to turn in before next period. He keeps opening it whenever you walk away. She passed by our area in the room more and he opened it when she was 3 feet behind him. He got called outside. Turns out around 6 to 8 kids, almost 1/3 of our class, were called outside. Apparently they all had been editing it to try to cheat. I feel as though they had it coming as they were cheating, but I am being called a massive off for snitching, so Reddit Ida? Short fix and edit. I do care about academic honesty, I just thought that was implied. About some phrasing issues that make it sound vindictive, it wasn't meant to be. Dysgraphia messes with my ability to accurately portray what I'm thinking into words. I just wanted my teacher to stop accusing me for no reason, and I saw a kid actually breaking the rules and I just acted. Also, the people in the class already hate me after they cyberbullied me last year for not letting a kid with ASD kick me and make antiemetic. Story 2. Ida for not moving back in with my mother. So, I, 20F, am a college student living in the dorms by myself this summer and have been ever since I came here. For some backstory, around 3 years ago when COVID hit, I was with my great-grandmother for spring break. Then I got quarantined with her from there. I was very comfortable there because I was able to leave the house and hang out with friends. When quarantine was done, not be watched 24/7, had some sort of privacy, and I didn't always have to watch my brother since I did that all the time when school was in person because my mom, 42F, did late hours. She now works at home after COVID. My mother and I already have a tipping relationship, but back then it was awful. I felt happy with my GG, and she was mad, so she took me off the lease for staying with my GG. So, I lived with my GG until I went to college in August 2021. So now fast forward, we have a better relationship with each other, and my great-grandmother passed away in February this year and gave the house to my uncle. He has kids and a wife, so there wouldn't be any room for me, and my grandma doesn't really like having company at her house much. Plus me living with her would remind her of how she didn't get the house. Anyway, that meant I didn't have anywhere else to go. I had asked my mother if I could come back and she had said in a snarky tone, "What's home to you anyway?" I took that as a sign that she didn't want me back home. Last week, I told her I didn't start summer classes till the end of June, and she got mad asking why I didn't just come home. I told her about what she said about what's home to me. She acted as if she didn't recall it, then said it wasn't meant to be taken that way and that I was being childish that I didn't ask her about it. She then went on and on saying how I never want to be around her, how I don't like her, and how I don't respect her. She kept bringing up things in the past, how when we're at my GG's house for the funeral and we were supposed to room with each other, I had advocated we should be in separate rooms to avoid any conflict, and I wanted to room with my brother since I hadn't seen him in a while. I thought it was the only logical reason at the time, especially with everyone on edge. I got angry and started ranting about how I never said I didn't like her, but every time we are together that we argue, and it turns ugly, so why even bother? Then we just started yelling at each other until she said she doesn't want to talk to me anymore and she cut me off. I don't know if I'm the asshole for not giving it another chance and overthinking what she said, but I honestly don't want to move in if we still have heated arguments over the phone, knowing it would be 10x worse in person. A quick thing, I do miss my brother and he understands what's going on and why I don't want to go back home. If anything, my mother and him have a way closer bond. Story 3. Ida for humiliating my mill. I have just had a son with my husband. We named our son after my dad, who passed away a few years ago. The name is from my culture and Mill said she didn't like it at first, as she said our son would struggle later with that name. I politely told her that I had named him after my dad, and that the name represents his heritage. Mill constantly calls son by a nickname and shortens it, as she said it was hard to pronounce, despite me telling her not to. She has carried on calling son by a shorter name, and even when talking to others, or introducing her grandson, she calls him the nickname. It was her birthday yesterday and I got her a necklace she had always wanted, as well as a set of phonic books. She was confused when she opened it, and I explained it was because she struggled to pronounce son's name. She is now upset that I humiliated her on her birthday and wants an apology. The only people present when the gift was being opened was me, her, our son and my husband. My husband agrees Mill was in the wrong for not calling son by his actual name, but that I should have approached the situation differently. Mill has told everyone, included extended family, how I disrespected her in her own house. Ida? Ada, it is not a name that is hard to pronounce, just uncommon. Nobody I have told has found it hard to pronounce, and Mill had pronounced the full name before when talking to my dad. I have read a few of the Story 4. Ida for not wanting to babysit my siblings' kids anymore. I, 23F, used to be very close with my family. My siblings have children and I used to be big part of their life. I'm always taking good care of them. On my free time I never do anything for myself. I spend it always with them. I love them. I always go above and beyond for them. Not to mention I spent lots of money on them. I'm the aunt that never said no to them. My siblings have more money than me, but all my money seems to go to their children. Now this is not my siblings' fault, it's just what I choose to do. I love them like my own and I never felt like I was being used by my siblings to be a free babysitter, because I truly enjoyed it from my heart. I don't have friends of my own. I considered my siblings my friends. However, a year ago I had a terrible injury and couldn't walk or use my hands for 6+ months. I went from being the girl that helped everyone out to being unable to help myself. I couldn't walk to the bathroom, kitchen, nowhere. For the first months of my injury I lost 30 pounds and I was severely skinny. I lost all that weight due to being unable to cook for myself. There were times I needed help even using my spoon. I needed to be fed, no one helped me. There were times I literally cut my hair off because I no longer could take care of my long thick hair. There were times I couldn't take showers. It was the most depressing time of my life. I went from dealing with my injury to dealing with all kinds of problems due to not taking care of myself, not eating properly, etc. Fast forward, after months of suffering and struggling I was able to slowly heal. I was very mad at my family when I finally healed. I realized they used to call me every day before my injury, because they could use me as a babysitter, but during my injury they acted as if I didn't exist. There were no phone calls, no checking up on me to see if I need anything, nothing. I did have high expectations from them. We were very close family. I was there for them through anything. But I didn't receive the same love back. The other day, my sister called me to say her kids miss me and to babysit them. I said no. That's the first time I've ever said no. Why is she calling me now that I'm recovered, when she didn't show up for me during the worst times of my life? She said it's because I never told them I needed help. Now they knew exactly what I was going through. They knew I couldn't walk, they knew I couldn't use my hands. They saw me with their own eyes first day of my injury at the hospital, then completely disappeared on me. I feel I am only good enough when I'm helping them, but when I'm unable to do anything I'm unwanted. I'm going to be all alone, but I decided to cut my siblings off of my life permanently. I will no longer be watching their kids for them. I've let them know this and have changed my number. They think it's evil to do to your family. What do you guys think? Ida? Story 5. Ida, I'm insistent that our school refund students' parents for a cancelled event. Principal disagrees and is angry with me. I could write an essay on this situation, but we'll try and boil it down to a paragraph. Feel free to ask for info. I am an 8th grade teacher, Florida, United States, at a Title I school, a school with a high percentage of students/families in poverty. Last week we hosted an 8th grade week in which students could pay to participate in activities. I won't list the multitude of ways in which this was a shit show. The one thing I am taking a strong stance on is movie day. 80 students paid $15 each to watch a movie in the auditorium with snacks provided. Due to no fault of the school, movie day was cancelled because the district didn't say until the last minute that the movie choice was not approved. Okay, so we refund the money, right? Students were told that day that we would. But instead the principal turns around and decides to give students a tumbler mug instead of a refund. I have strongly vocalized my opposition to this, but in turn have been berated by my principal, for an hour this morning. No exaggeration, she even had someone cover my class, that I am making a big fuss over nothing, casting shadow on her integrity, and that students and parents prefer the mug over the refund. Bullshit. She says any dissatisfied parents should call her and state they want a refund. I said it's unfair to put the onus on the parents when a refund should have been the automatic response to the cancellation of the activity. So, Ida, for continuing to insist we give the refund? My principal has no intention of doing so, so I plan to email the district school board next. Before doing so I figured I'd get some good OL Reddit input. Would you be satisfied with a mug in place of cash refund? Story 6. Wibda, if I told my daughter's grandparents of her existence. 4 years ago I, F29, had a FWB situation with Sam, M29. We were best friends and enjoyed each other's company, but both of us were not looking for more. Which was fine, except I ended up pregnant. I found out when I was 16 weeks along. My parents were super supportive and promised to help where they could. Which for me was a big part in my decision to keep the baby. Sam, however, said you can either abort the child, or you will never see me again. Boy, bye. It wasn't easy. But God, my baby girl is everything to me. She's beautiful and smart and tough and kind, and I found my reason in being her mom. Like, I was meant to do this. With her. Together as a team. She is such a happy child. She sees her grandparents almost daily. My brother and my nephew are her biggest heroes, and earlier this year we adopted a puppy that makes our little family of 3 complete. Trust me when I say that she feels so loved, every day of her life. Anyway, she's 3,5 years old now, and today was the first time she ever asked about her dad. I told her a kid-friendly version of the truth. You have a dad, his name is Sam. When you were in mommy's belly he decided he wanted to stay in country name. Then she shrugged and asked if she could play with her stuffed animals. But I'm not delusional. I know I cannot be a dad to her, and that's a hole in her life/heart that I cannot fill or fix. I'm sure we'll be going to lots of therapy sessions when she really starts asking questions. But it got me thinking. She has a whole family that doesn't know she's alive. She's got grandparents and an auntie on her father's side. I know for sure Sam hasn't told a soul about the pregnancy, and he stayed true to his word, and I have never seen him or heard from him again. He blocked me on everything, and to be 100% honest, in those 3 years, I only googled him once. I'm fine with him not being in the picture. It's the extended family that makes me doubt. They did nothing wrong and yet they never got the chance to know my baby. Would I be the asshole if I contacted them? I think it might be too late and the news would cause so much drama. On the other hand, I feel like they deserve to know. Also, I tried my best but English is not my native language. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.